The Sumerians, the people who started it all. If we talk about civilization as we know it, with cities, writing, laws, and grand temples, it all goes back to them. Their world existed in what we now call southern Iraq, a land they named Sumer, around 3100 BCE. But how did these people, living in a harsh, flood-prone land, manage to build something so groundbreaking? Imagine a vast plain between two mighty rivers, the Tigris and Euphrates. The land was fertile but unpredictable. Floods could wash away entire settlements, and droughts could leave people starving. But the Sumerians were clever. They dug canals, controlled the rivers, and turned their villages into thriving city-states. Each city, Uruk, Lagash, and others, was a world of its own, ruled by a king who claimed divine approval. Now, if there's one city that truly stands out, it's Uruk. This was the home of the legendary King Gilgamesh, the hero of one of the world's oldest epics. Uruk wasn't just any city, it was a metropolis with grand temples, markets, and towering walls that Gilgamesh supposedly built himself. The Sumerians did something no other known culture had done before. They invented writing. Originally, it was just simple markings on clay tablets, mostly for keeping track of grain and sheep. But soon, they developed cuneiform, a script that allowed them to record everything from business deals to epic poetry. Without them, we wouldn't have written history at all. Religion was woven into every part of Sumerian life. Each city had its own god, and the temple at the center of the city wasn't just a place of worship, it was the economic and political heart of society. The priests had enormous power, controlling vast amounts of land and resources. The gods weren't just distant figures, they were thought to directly influence daily life. Kings, on the other hand, had to walk a fine line. They weren't gods themselves, unlike the later pharaohs of Egypt, but they ruled with divine support. The king's job? Keep the gods happy, keep the people safe, and make sure the canals didn't dry up. The Sumerian cities didn't always get along. In fact, they were constantly at war. Each city-state wanted control over the best land and water sources. Kings like Eannatum of Lagash carved their victories into stone, boasting of their conquests. One of the most famous rulers was Sargon of Akkad, who, around 2334 BCE, decided he wasn't content with just one city-state. He conquered them all, creating the first known empire in history. The Sumerians now had a new boss, but their culture survived, influencing the Akkadians and every civilization that followed. Nothing lasts forever, and by 2000 BCE, the Sumerian civilization was fading. Invasions from outsiders like the Amorites and Elamites weakened their cities. Climate change, perhaps a long drought, made survival harder. The last great Sumerian city, fell around 2004 BCE. Yet, Sumer never truly disappeared. Their writing, their gods, their laws. They all lived on in later civilizations like Babylon and Assyria. Even the Bible's stories of Abraham trace back to Why the Sumerians matter? The Sumerians weren't just another ancient people, they were the foundation. Their inventions, writing, cities, organized government, and even beer, shaped the world we live in. Their legacy is everywhere, hidden in the languages we speak, the laws we follow, and the stories we tell. So, the next time you think of ancient history, remember the Sumerians, the people who started civilization itself. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts. What fascinates you most about the ancient Sumerians? And what ancient civilizations should we explore next? Stay tuned for more history, and thanks for being part of the journey.